Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 207 of our Get Your Goals Annual Challenge. Today, we're going to talk about step 2 of the relationship goal process. Now, you might have noticed it's the same 7-step process that we're using for each area and aspect of the life framework as we go through this year's challenge. Do one thing every day to get what we want, right? If we break it down, we do one little thing every day, our goals and achieving them becomes really automatic because we're moving toward it in bite-sized pieces every day. And what I like to do, my favorite way to get my goals, is to find actions and activities and do things that actually impact more than one goal simultaneously. So for example, if I eat right and take care of my physical body, that impacts all the other areas and aspects of my life. It gives me energy to do the things that I want to do in the different areas and aspects. So today, relationship goal process step 2 is to sneak a sip of coffee for my morning throat and discuss SMART goals. We are going to set up our goal in the most important goal in our area of relationships. We're going to set that up using the SMART framework. I'm kind of surprised at myself this morning that I don't have a backwards written graphic for this, but it reminds me to make one, as well as for the whole process itself. Why don't I have one? We're in what, month 6, we're in month 7 already of doing the challenge. So by now we should have documented the process, written it backwards. So I have a cool graphic like this one to share written backwards. So today, SMART goals. My goal, my most important goal that I'm working the process for and applying the process to this month is my relationship with my granddaughters. And yesterday we used the who, what, where, when, why, and how to come up with our current situation, our current story, and our desired story. Why? Because that creates the gap between where we are right now and what we want. And when we have identified what we want, we automatically start being pulled like a magnet toward that thing instead of staying stuck where we are. And we need that in order to change and move and get what we want. So how do I apply the SMART framework? And I just jotted down a couple of notes briefly. There's a write-up in Guide 17, of course, and the Get Up and Go private Facebook group page. I didn't start a private group page for this particular annual challenge. I probably should. I could have a new one every year, but it's just one more thing to manage, right? And is it essential and necessary? I like personally having all of the information from all of the previous Get Up and Go challenges. There's at least 7 or 8 plus last year's annual challenges in that same group. So you can go in and you can search in the sidebar anything you'd like more information on, and SMART goals is one that will come up over and over and over again. So you can see a bunch of different examples of creating and applying the SMART goal framework to different areas and aspects of your life, as well as relationships. So my relationship with my granddaughters, what part of that am I going to make specific? Because there's a lot of different things I could say and set as goals for my relationship with my granddaughters. I have 3 beautiful granddaughters. One just turned 8. One is 2 and a half almost. This next month she'll be 2.5, and my other granddaughter will be 6 months next month. So it's really interesting. They're kind of diverse ages. So what's most important for each of them? And what do I want my goal and my objective and my relationship to be like with them? You know, we talked about the 7 whys before we even started this. Why do I care? Why do I want that? And why do we want to apply the SMART framework to this goal? Why is that step 2 of our process? Number 1, because we want clarity and focus. It's really easy to say, I want to have a better relationship with my granddaughters, yet that is so broad and so open-ended. How can I know if I'm achieving that or not, right? So we want clarity and focus. I want accountability. I want to be able to hold myself accountable to say, yes, I am doing what I said I'm going to do with respect to this relationship, or no, I'm not. Because that's the only way I can adjust my actions and behaviors and thoughts, is if I know how I'm performing. That's why it's so important to measure things, which is the 2nd step of the process, right? So why do I want it? And the specific thing I set is I want to spend a certain amount of quality time with each of my granddaughters. Now, I live with 2 of my granddaughters, so daily that's easy to do. It's the quality time focus that I need to work on. Instead of just being there and being a body, I want to be present and interact with them more than I sometimes do. I also need to figure out a way to spend more time with my oldest granddaughter. family situation makes that more challenging and more difficult. So clarity and focus, accountability, strengthening the bond. I want to have a great relationship with my granddaughters. Building trust. I want them to trust and know that I am their person, and if they need something, they can come to me for help and support. And then a sense of purpose. I honestly believe that part of why I'm here on planet Earth is to guide and lead and teach and share with these beautiful little human beings. What are some tips for coming up and using the SMART framework? Make sure that you're listening actively. I need to also balance that time with what is in the girls' best interest. What do they want? And I'll do that, since some of them are very little, through observation and asking, and involving them in how we spend our time together. I'll be flexible, which I like to think I'm pretty flexible, but I'm also very set in my ways of having to do certain things at certain times of the day. And that just, I've had to, since I'm a little ADHD, had to add that structure and force myself to hold myself accountable to that structure just to make my life work. We will celebrate our progress together and have little celebrations. We'll communicate openly and effectively. Again, the two little ones are a little harder to understand than my oldest granddaughter. And then be patient, which is always a great reminder for me, because I need to be patient. What are some of the challenges with this particular relationship and setting SMART goals? Number one, there's a generation gap, right? I am 63 years old, and my granddaughters are, under a year, under 2.5, and 8. Very big difference in when I grew up and the things I experienced as a kid and what they are faced with and experiencing as their children. And I suppose each generation feels that, because that's the way the world changes and moves so fast. Lack of time. I actually have more time because I have the ability to control and schedule my own time. Technological distractions. This is one that really didn't come up so much when my kids were little. It was a factor, but now it is absolutely a, elephant. It's the elephant in the room, because everyone is so attached to their technology, including me. I'm on technology right now. I'm on technology throughout the day. Physical distance. We all live in the same town right now, but that could change, right? If I happen to move, or if either of my kids happen to move their kids, then that distance could be a factor. Conflicting schedules is definitely a factor. And then I'm gonna share this one: challenging parents. Sometimes family situations aren't, well, they're definitely not traditional anymore. I don't know if there are very many, and there are, of course, but I think the percentage of traditional families has changed dramatically, and we don't have the nuclear families anymore. So that means more people, more schedules, more planning needs to happen in order to achieve the goal that I've set for myself in terms of having quality time with each of my granddaughters. So SMART, I'm going to run through what I wrote down already for this, because I did write down some things. So specific again, quality time with each of my granddaughters. How is that measurable? On a scale of 1 to 10, every time I spend time with my granddaughters, so that means for the two I live with, every single day, I am going to either sometime during the day, probably at the end of the day, right before bed, as part of my nighttime ritual, I will say, how effective, one being, oops, really bad, lost my temper, or scream. I don't scream, but my daughter says I yell at my 2-year-old granddaughter, because she's like a whirling dervish, and we call her Quinlan Chaos because she's so active, and she's running all the time, and she's very brave, and so she doesn't notice some of the things that could kill her, that she could get hurt on. So if she's doing something dangerous, I tend to raise my voice, just like I did when my kids were little, and they're both with me, so I think that there's something that's working there. But on a scale of 1 to 10, then I'll just actually, and I should write it down and track it. I'm not necessarily going to commit to that. Maybe I'll do it in my gratitude journal. I'll just add a little place in the corner where I'll put a Q and a J and a number from 1 to 10. 10 being awesome. We had a fantastic day together, and we had quality time. We spent quality time doing activities that were important to them. And a 1 being, ooh boy, not a very good day. And then it'll be a little bit different. The time frame for my granddaughter, my Etta, because my oldest granddaughter, because I don't live with her and she lives with her mom. So how am I going to measure it again? 1 to 10. Is it achievable? Absolutely, positively, yes. Is it relevant? Absolutely. To me, it's relevant. It's what I think is one of my reasons for existing, is to have a positive impact on other people, especially those people I love and care about. And that, of course, includes my granddaughters. Time bound, I just put December 31st, 2023, because it's not going to end then, right? It's because I want to make sure that I do a massive check-in to guarantee that I've achieved this goal. And I've had the impact that I want on their little lives, and they've had the impact I want them to have on my life. And it's the end of this year's challenge, so that's why I picked that date. All right, any questions about this? Hit me up. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow. Set up your most important relationship goal, which we discussed a couple of days ago. We did the current situation versus the desired situation yesterday. Now put that in the SMART goal framework, because that will massively increase your chance of achieving it. All right, any questions? Ask me. Look at the private Facebook group. Or you can always Google it. You know, you can be a self-starter and you can Google it yourself if you don't have much experience using SMART goals. I've been using SMART goals since, since, I don't know if we learned them in college, probably not, but definitely since my tenure in corporate America. It just is automatic for me nowadays. All right, have a great day. That's why it takes me longer to write it down than to actually do it. All right, have a great day, and I'll, of course, see you tomorrow. Bye.